I see these phonies, the do-nothing Democrats. They said today that Putin wants to be sure that Trump gets elected. Here we go again. I was told a week ago, they said, you know, they're trying to start a rumor. It's disinformation. That's the only thing they're good at.
That's President Trump going after an intelligence report claiming Vladimir Putin wants him to win the election, saying Democrats are pushing another Russia disinformation campaign. My next guest was in that classified briefing and says no one is going to believe this garbage. Congressman Devin Nunes, ranking member of the House Intel Committee, is with me now. Good to see you. Let's start with what happened inside that meeting. And what we now know was this narrative that the president apparently would benefit from a Russia push. But then now late tonight, so would Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, so look, the most concerning part about all this is that we can't talk about what happened in that meeting. So if anything in the Washington Post story or the New York Times story is true about either Bernie Sanders or Putin's plans and intentions or anything else, nobody that's on the committee or that's seen this classified information should be talking about it.
Oh, wow.
Now, it gets worse when you have the Washington Post claim that I went to the White House. Remember this story? Didn't we hear this like 3 years ago that I was, sneaking into the White House? I went to the White House to tell the president really bad things to get him to fire McGuire. Now, look, I don't know what planet the Washington Post is on, but they'll have an opportunity in federal court in the next couple weeks to explain who their sources are, because I'm going to have to take them to court because I didn't go to the White House. I didn't talk to President Trump, Harris. So this is the same garbage. And the only way to get these guys to stop, I don't know where they build a narrative, they plant the narrative, they write fake stories about it of things that shouldn't even be talked about, this classified information, and then they run these stories. Who the hell is leaking this if indeed it is true?
It is interesting
but I can tell you
what you say about, and I just want to step in here, the Director of National Intelligence, the acting, Joe McGuire, is actually leaving because he's up against the 200 or so days that he can serve. So the president now putting in the ambassador to Germany, Rick Grinnell, in that position. That's the Joe McGuire that you're talking about. I'm just catching everybody up, Congressman. So wait a minute. You're suing the Washington Post.
Yeah, that's right. I don't have any choice, because how do you make up a story like this? How do you say that I went to the White House? I didn't go to the White House. I didn't, McGuire was leaving anyway, as you just said.
Yeah.
Let's walk everybody back. How did we end up here? John Ratcliffe was nominated. The press went after him. So John Ratcliffe said, hey, forget this. McGuire was put in temporarily.
Acting,
His time is coming up. He's acting. Now they're bringing the German ambassador, or our ambassador to Germany, back, Mr. Grinnell, to be in that position.
Temporarily.
So how on earth, number one, are people that are getting classified briefings, how does this end up in the pages of the Washington Post and the New York Times?
I understand.
And all I can tell you is that it's total garbage and demonstrably false. I didn't talk to the president, okay? But you have CNN, Washington Post, all the usual suspects claiming that I went somewhere that I didn't go.
Well, you are breaking news
this has
tonight.
got to stop, and that's why the courts have to step in.
You're going to sue the Washington Post, and I understand two lanes there. You got leaking going on, and you say that a story has been made up with you at the center of it. You're going to sue over that. But there's also this idea that Russia is getting involved in our elections again, and that's the umbrella to all of this, because that would not be a good thing. Here's Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. I want to get your reaction to what she's saying.
We are, again, vigilant. The evidence is clear that the Russians are up to their same old.
And you say what?
Well, I would just remind everybody that facts are very important here. The very first person to warn of Putin's problems and our intelligence capabilities being inadequate was me in 2014, 15, and even the spring of 2016, when I warned, and that's at the same time that the whole Russiagate started, and they started illegally spying on the Trump campaign in the spring of 16. I was the one who warned about the Russia problem. Now, the Republican report that came out 2 years ago now The Republican report was very clear. The Russians, and before them, the Soviets, clearly always look for opportunities to sow discord in our election process. That's always going to happen. And don't forget, other countries will try it too.
Are we prepared?
If they can be successful. Well, look, clearly the Democrats are not prepared, because one of the things that we said in our report is stay off the internet, stay off the web. Don't use things that can be corrupted. And what did they do? They build an app that fails in Iowa.
Yeah.
So they don't even, they mock our report, but then they don't listen to the report, and now they can't even count their votes properly.
Real quickly, because I've got to let you go. Bernie Sanders being looked at possibly by getting help. He's been briefed reportedly that the Russians are trying to help him through the process. So it's him at the end of the nomination for the Democrats. Your quick thought.
Look, I think this is very dangerous when we go down the road of that countries are trying to help one candidate or another. I think it's very, very dangerous, and you have very high-level people that are doing this. Look, what it looks like to me is that the establishment Democrats don't want Bernie Sanders. And look, I understand that. Bernie Sanders is a socialist, spent time in the Soviet Union. I don't want him either. But the fact of the matter is that we shouldn't be talking about this information if indeed it is true. It's classified, and there should be an investigation into it.
Well, you put a fine point on that. And of course, you know, our enemies love when this sort of thing happens. If in fact things are being leaked like this, they like to see it. It helps their cause. Congressman Nunes, you broke news tonight as you sue the Washington Post. We'll follow that part of the story. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.